Do you read me?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Haji. Do you read me? Over.
Pacho, this is Contow. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower. Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. Say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Get some. Hayat! Hurrah! Bark, bark, woof, woof. All that good trash. Motor skaters, devil dogs, fellow soldiers, seamen, zoomies, and everybody. And I don't know what should we call it? The Space Force. We'll just call them or meaty. I don't know. That's my sound of a fucking Martian. What's going on, everybody? Another great week gone by, and we're back again, back at it here, in the field op. Hey, but before we get started, I just want to say, like I always do, and as I always begin my show, hey, this show is all about freedom of speech. Sometimes we may agree to disagree. We may not agree. Myself, my guest, or even you, the listener or viewer out there in the interwebs. So with that being said, if you don't like what you hear, hey, man or lady, you have the right to move on and swipe left and listen to something else. But if you like what you or if you're curious or you like what you hear, stick around, hit like, subscribe, pass it on like a joint at a party, share it, let other people know. And, because you might learn something, right? So with that being said, freedom of speech is that's what we're all about. So Second Amendment. So let's move on. So today is a great topic. I think last week we had an awesome topic. We talked about motorcycles. I mean, holy shit! What a great motorcycling is one of the best deals. So I'm wearing my T-shirt right now of the the Honda African Twin, the unofficial motorcycle of the field. I'm just kidding, but that's one of my favorite bikes right now. But today let's talk about we're going to talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart: transitioning out of the service. It comes with a lot of anxiety. It comes with it can cause a lot of undue stress on your behalf if you don't prepare for it. I'll tell you, I guess you could say I'm a 2-time transitioning service member out of the service. I did get out of the military twice. Once after my first enlistment, and back then the reason behind it, I was, you come to at a point to make that decision. I had actually gone to the career counselor or career jammer, as we like to call it, term of endearment for in the Marines. And I had a lot of friends, back home, that were like, "Hey, dude, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna come back?" And a lot of us, because as I came back in and I became a staff NCO and I became an officer, I hear young Marines, because I went through it myself. Hey, I'm going to go back home. I got this job with a third cousin, twice removed, and that friend of a family. I'm going to go do this gig or this job and whatever. But that's not 100. That is not always guaranteed. So we get out on a whim without really looking at the big picture and what's the outcome, or where we're going to be a few months, a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from then, from that pinnacle point where you got to make a decision, and where we're going to be in our lives. We don't see that. Like when I was a recruiter, excuse me. One of the things that we used to ask is that, hey, little Johnny or little Susie, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Oh, I see myself at flipping Whoppers, this, that. Because we're just trying to get you to think. We're just trying to get you to think in regards to, making a sound decision. Because again, you're transitioning out of high school. Are you going to go to school? Are you going to do this? Are you just going to stay home and you're not going to do anything? So, I was at a pinnacle point in my life, going back, to my first enlistment, and man, I remember going. So I was at Separations Company, because back then, if you were separated out of the military or the Marines and you were in Okinawa or Hawaii, they would ship you back to Camp Pendleton. And then you went through SEP's company. And over there, you would do all your paperwork, blah, 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 this and that. in transition, if you were in the 90 days in that window, 90 days from your end of contract, if you were inside the 90 days window, they would, they would just cut you loose. They'll say, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to let you go 90 days early or 80 days early or whatever have you. If you were still out from that window, then once you stay at that separations company doing different jobs, odds and working parties and all kinds of other different shit, and until you got to that window, and that's exactly what happened to me. But anyways, as I was saying, I'm at a pinnacle point at this, with this career planner, and I just remember I was like, oh my, the windows were closing in. I was like, I don't want to do another 4 years, because you think that, oh, it's super horrible, which it really wasn't. So I made the decision of getting out, is what I'm getting at. And thinking back then, you go through all these things separate. You go to Temp and Tab, what these are transitioning classes. How to write a resume, how to conduct interviews, all these other things. And these classes are ran. This again, we're talking, early 90s or mid 90s, 96, 97 timeframe. So looking back, and what am I talking about right now is basically the simple fact that, as I was going through these classes, I'm looking back, is that there's not enough effort still from the DoD. And then I'll talk about me transitioning out when I retired. I still think that even back then, or even now, there's not enough. We're not setting our folks ready for transitioning out of the services. Yes, some of these classes are good information, and they're a good baseline to get us service members thinking about resumes, these things and that. But what I noticed with a lot of those classes, that they were taught by individuals who basically were part of, MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation. Again, I'm basing some of this information on my experience. I don't know. Right now, I don't have enough information as to, how they're doing it. But nonetheless, some of the vibe that I got is that, say, hey, we're just kind of doing this, checking the box. After this, good luck, make magic, whatever. So, and a lot of us, who takes all this information seriously? Are you just going to get out of the service because you want to, or you feel like it, or, what is it? So you need to have a plan is what it all boils down to. I didn't have a plan. I could tell you that right now. I thought I was going to go back home. I was somewhat single at the time. At that time, towards the end, I had met my kid's mom. But nonetheless, I was under the impression I'm going to go back home. I'm going to hang out with my buddy Ken, my brother, who's my brother from another mother, who was in the show a few months ago. And we're going to go home and we're going to rule Miami with an iron fist and have fun and fucking party and this and that, and then get jobs and all that shit. But let me tell you, that wasn't the case. Not the case at all. You never fall in love with your plan, because the plan is going to change. And boy, did it for me. I went back home. I found it difficult to find a job, in the sense that I wasn't prepared to some degree mentally, or even to some capacity physically. In the sense, and what I mean by that is, yes, I had done a lot of shit while I was in the Marine Corps. I had gone places, deployed, all these things, and all this experience. Unlike my counterparts, that they stayed home, they went to school, and all these other things, but they learned, they knew what a resume was, and all these things that we just don't impact. I didn't know what is a fucking resume. You know what I mean? So because of that, I had to prepare myself. So here I am back home, and I'm feeling my way around, and I really hadn't thought my decisions of going out of the service all the way through. So it's basically the point that I'm trying to get at. So, and if you're going to get out of the service, do yourself the justice, whether you're a first termer or second, or you're retiring out of the service, you need to have a plan, is the bottom line, and start preparing for that as soon as you can. Take advantage of all the things like school. Take advantage of the certification course that you can that those things I think the DoD and they do a really good job at having all these resources available so you can have a plan, start thinking about it. And in a day and age, I was talking about this last night with some friends, from right here in my hometown. We just need to, people don't think we have all this information right here in front of us, but we don't take full advantage to prepare ourselves. So, but kind of going back to what I was saying is you need to have a plan. And so I decided to go back in, not because, oh shit, I just don't know what to do. This is all I knew. No, I genuinely liked the military. It took for me to getting out to realize that, hey, you know what, that shit wasn't too bad, and I was good at it, right? So I made the choice, the conscious choice of going back in, and at the same time I was also I had met, like I said, I met my kid's mom. We got married, and it was a good thing. It was a win-win situation because at the same time I already had, I was going to have benefits and this and that for my wife and kids and such. So I made that choice, and I made the best of it. I went back to school. I got a degree while I was in. I became an officer. I took advantage. I approached it in a much different mentality than on my first enlistment. I think a lot of us, go through that. Very few of us, unless you're just one of those super locked on and ready to rock and roll individuals. That, hey, after in the first enlistment, you have a plan. You're doing, making those milestones and all those things to, set yourself up for success later on in life. I think there are those people that exist. But I'll tell you straight up, my first enlistment, I had fun. I partied. I drank my ass off. I got to deploy, see some cool shit. But I did, towards the end, I started kind of taking some college classes, but I didn't really fully take advantage. Unlike my second time, as I went back in, I went in with different mentality. I started going to school, started working on certifications. I had a goal. Okay, I'm going to be this. I'm going to be an officer, whether warrant officer or unrestricted, all these things. So I was making these milestones, and I had a better approach on it. You know what I mean? So, but as I was making a career and moving forward, I started going to school, all these things. And then I got my associates. Then I started working towards my undergrad, and I approached that way. But one thing as I was getting more senior in the ranks and going to school and all these things, one thing I did see is that a lot of staff NCOs, a lot of senior warrant out, fellow chief warrant officers and such. I started seeing, in my classes, all these senior folks, senior enlisted and fellow officers, they're trying to cram because they put core first and everything else second. And again, as leaders, we tend to do that. No, I'm not trying to say you're wrong about it, but because we give so much 100% of ourselves into the beast, the green machine, that we tend not to care for ourselves in many different ways, both mentally, physically, personally, and also, hence why a lot of us go through divorces and all those things. So I saw these folks trying to cram a 4-year degree into 2 years before retiring. It's like, hey, dude, what? Oh, sorry, Sergeant Major, what's going on? Oh no, I'm just trying to finish my class, or yeah, I'm retiring next year, so I'm just trying to finish this 4-year degree. And it's just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So again, it's great that you're realizing now. It's great that we give our all in all into the service and to take care of those who are under our charge. 100% great, but we need to take care of ourselves. And I say that looking back, because I did this for in other aspects I did the same thing. In education, thank God that that, and I'll give a shout out to my kid's mom. She did encourage me, and hey, you should go to school, and but she planted that seed, gave me that ball, and I ran. It was me who did the work, but I will give her credit for that for doing those things. But in that aspect, I did do it on my own, as far as like taking care of me on that aspect. But I did put other things, even my family, so a lot of the times before the course. So all I'm trying to say, folks, is that take care of yourselves first, because in the end, shit ends.
the Marine Corps is going to go on without you. The Army is going to go on without you. The Navy, Space Force, Air Force, all these, the machine is going to keep feeding itself. People are going to serve. People are going to do their own things. People are going to sacrifice. It's a well-oiled machine that's been around since, the Marine Corps has been around even before the United States was a nation. Since 1775, the United States actually came into 1776. So it's been around. It's going to keep with or without us. So take care. You got to take care of you. It's basically what I'm saying. So if you're getting out, start going. If you're already in that mindset, because I knew 5 years out. I'm like, I just don't see myself doing 30 years. That's just. So I started preparing myself. So I highly encourage you that prepare yourself. Start going to school or start going through certifications that the base education center is so on that aspect. I will say they are full of resources. You can even your military part of your career in the courses that you've done, the Staff NCO Academy, Corpus course, all those courses, and even I don't know if they still have correspondence courses, MCIs, Marine, correspondence courses like we used to do when I was in the Marines. That you could sign up for these courses that you get booklets and take a test and all that good stuff. But you get college credits for all that stuff, and then you can knock out basically a year or two. Even boot camp, you get credit for boot camp. And basically you can get yourself closer to a degree by taking advantage of these things, or you could get certified as an ASE mechanic. You can get certified, as on the many things paid for by the DoD is all I'm saying. So start setting yourself up for those things. Don't wait until the last minute. If you can, and you have the opportunity, take a retirement seminar. If you're a senior staff NCO enlisted, I know that when I was going through it, there was one where, if you're retiring, there was a seminar for retiring or transitioning out. But there's also 25, they called it the 25 plus seminar for retirees. Take advantage of that one as well. Yes, some of the information was dated. It was for me when I went through, but they planted the seed to get me thinking about, things like resume, corporate interviews, all these things. So, I highly encourage you to start doing that now. And again, whether you're getting out, you're not going to get out, but every once in a while, see what's out there. Put a fucking resume on, a Monster, Indeed, all these other resources. And by the way, Google also has a resource now for service members that it's a military translator that can help you translate all your information from the service into civilian terminology. I know Marine Cool is another website, another resource that helps you with that stuff as well. Or you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Russell Levy, who's been on the show, and we can help you with all these things, setting you up and give you the resources so you can do it yourself. So we'll give you the means and the tools, but you got to do the work. And if you have questions, we can help out. But so do yourself the favor, start taking advantage of all these things, because even when I retired out of the service, I had all these things. And again, even though I was somewhat more better prepared, I had a degree, I had all these other things, still a lot of anxiety comes with it, because you're like, oh shit, what am I going to do with my life? If you've been dedicating your life for, 15, 18, whatever, and you're retiring out of service, I highly recommend have leave saved up and take some terminal leave. Don't jump back into work 2 weeks, the following, you're retiring on Friday, Monday, you're back at it working. I highly recommend that you don't do that. Why? Give yourself time to decompress. I had saved up a lot of leave, because I was, I had taken leave and some, but I had a lot of it, and as far as transitioning and all this good stuff, where I took about 3 months off, and my third month I was looking for a job, setting myself up for success. But decompress is the bottom line. You've been hoorah, bark, bark, woof, woof, kill, kill, all that good stuff. That shit doesn't go well with civilians. Let me tell you that shit right now. It does not. So decompress is what, to the point where your family tells you, hey man, so you're driving us fucking crazy. When are you gonna get a real? When are you gonna get a job? Because we can't have you sitting here around the house, scratching your nuts and or yelling at us and pointing shit out to us. That's to the relax and decompress, and you'll because that way when you join that new job and whatever, you're not in there like, you're trying to knife hand people and all that shit, because civilians, and I'm not drawing that sand line on the sand. I'm just saying that it's a different mentality, and thank God that recruiting duty for me a while back had helped me kind of deal with folks, how to talk to them to some degree. But yeah, set yourself up for success, because it's going to create friction. I know at one of my companies, I used to be like, hey, good morning, how are you? Kind of serious but professional all the way. And then my boss came to me, he says, hey, some of our team members, because that's what they call them, some of our team members have been complaining about you, saying that you're way too rigid and this and that. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean, boss person? I'm very professional. I say good morning, or how's your day? Have a motivated day. See what I'm saying? And well, just make sure you fix it. Just consider this kind of like a 2-week notice. I was fucking shocked. So that to me was a wake up call. Hey, I need to stop eating this fleet chow, this MRE of motivation, and kind of tone it down. It's just a wake up call, because again, it's nothing against the folks in the private sector. It's just that's the life that they chose. So we need to be team members and adopt in those things. If you have an issue with somebody, you don't just say, hey, motherfucker, I'll meet you in the back and whatever, shut your pie hole. No, you go to HR and you say, hey, I'm having a conflict with this individual. They're, da da da, whatever, blah blah blah, whatever the case may be. Those are see what I'm saying? So, going back at it, set yourself up for success. Medically, what do I recommend is that, just like I've had folks, Jane Babcock, Russell Levy, we talk about, going to the VA. Start, and if your medical book is as thin as my phone right here, you're wrong. And it's not. I'm telling you right now, it's not. You're not being a sick bay commando or none of those things. You want anything and everything on that medical book, so that way you get treated for it while you're out of the service. Because just like me, I have shoulder issues now. I have, joint issues with my knees. I have mental issues that I deal with, and I get treated for by the VA and such. Bottom line is, you want everything tied to the service, because as you get older, shit is gonna get worse. I mean, that's the bottom line. And we've put mileage on our bodies while we're in the service. See what I'm saying? And you want to be compensated for it. A lot of even I've talked to you about some of my closest friends. Oh no, I only did one enlistment. You did more. You deserve it. I don't know. Bullshit. Because as you get older, all those little fucking things from that first enlistment are gonna catch up with you. I'm telling you, because I'm going through it right now. So you want to get treated, and you want to be compensated for it. Those are things that you earned, and you want the VA on the hook for it. So start documenting all those things into your medical book, so that way you can file a claim and you can get seen for it. Because if it's not, just like I do in my safety job, if it ain't on paper, it never happened. You're not gonna get treated for it. And so, and then there's some residual benefits that your family can receive, because depending on how much percentage from the VA you're going to be getting. So a lot of times while you're in the service, they'll tell you is that they'll tell you, hey, 180 days out before your end of contract, start putting your VA claim in. And yes, they're right. Don't wait. Some people some VA folks may argue, oh no, you want a little bit later, because that way you get put in the priority list. Look, bottom line is, once you're in that window, you want to put a VA claim and put and a date attached to it. So that way, when you hit submit, then it gets backdated to that original date. Just like right now, if you were doing a VA claim after post service, you have a year to, to fulfill that, file that claim, and it's going to get backdated to that original date. So there'll be back monies once you get, once the claim gets seen and you start getting compensated, it's going to get backdated to that original date. So that's why you want to start all your VA claim. Hopefully you're already taking your education and all these other things, serious, and you've already have a plan lined up and set out, so you can transition much better out of the service. Because bottom line is, yes, people are going to say, thanks for your service, we appreciate it, all that stuff. But guess what? Nobody's going to hand you a job. Nobody is. You got to go out there and get it yourself. Nobody's going to be waiting out there telling you, hey, you were Sergeant Major in the Marine Corps, or hey, you were Chief Warrant Officer in the Marine Corps. Come on over here, this and that. Yes, you may have the skills and to run a company or be a manager or whatever, but you have to go. Finding a job is a job all in itself. So, don't just think. Be prepared and know. For every 100 no's, there may be a yes out there. For every so many resumes that you submit, you may get a hit as far as as an interview, because a resume only opens the door for you to sit on that seat and talk to that employer and say, hey, I'm here. And after that is you need to sell yourself to that individual. And I'm here to tell you, if you don't, you're there to interview that place as well. Have questions as to, hey, how long do managers usually last? What's the next step in the hiring process? Have some. Again, it's a relationship, and it's kind of like dating. You're getting to know them, they're getting to know you, and if you're going to be a good fit, for them, to see if that company is going to be good for you. And you don't have to say yes. Find someone else will be out there. Once you start getting interviews, and you get experience as to how to talk and sell yourself, you'll get the hang of it. But ask those questions, and if you don't like it, you don't have to take that job. Move on to someone else. So because it's not a marriage, it's a relationship. So hey, you can move on to someone else may resonate with you. And sometimes, just like me, it's not about the money. Now you're at a point where, you know what, I don't have to make this money, but I want to do something that's meaningful. I want to be a safety person. I want to be a teacher. I want to be whatever. So something that feeds your soul and that's going to fulfill you, or unless you're just one of those individuals that you saved a lot of money and you're going to say, hey, you know what, I saved up, I got my go fuck yourself money now, and I'm not going to work. I'm just going to be do whatever, which is great. You could do that shit too. But bottom line is, this whole time what I've been saying is, look, have a plan, set yourself up for success. Start thinking, reach out to, people who've already, you have fellow retirees, and you have all the people that were in the service. Ask them, hey, what did you do when you got out the first time, or what did you do to retire, and get their information, and then start coming up with a plan. And you can, like I said earlier, you can reach out to Russell Levy, you can reach out to myself, and we can help you and give you ideas as to, hey, maybe this is what you should be working on. But in the end, you got to do what's best for you, not for yourself. You're going to get pressure from your loved ones back home. Hey, especially first, are you going to come home? We're going to party. Or your mom and dad. In the end, they're not going to pay your bills. They're not going to find a job for you. They may have a resource or people that they know. So, but in the end, you got to do the work. And so, to sum it all up, have a plan. Start preparing soon. Take advantage of all the things that the education center has to offer. Certifications. The more certifications, the more resources or sources of income that you can have. When you get out. Hey, if this one thing doesn't work, well, I have this motorcycle safety foundation cert that I could work on the weekends and get some money coming in, or first aid CPR instructor, whatever. So have a backup. Start working on a resume. Start researching online. Information is all at hand. Get with the VA. engage with an organization like the Disabled American Veterans, American Legion. All these organizations are going to help you put your claim together and get you some residual income from other avenues. That way you're not dependent on other things. Because bottom line is that if you're a retiree, I will tell you this, you're in a different class from the American general population, that you already have some money coming in every month. And if you have a VA claim for a service member, you already have a little bit chunk of change coming in, where it should relieve some of those anxieties as to, oh shit, I got to get a job right now, or, oh my God, what am I going to do? So there's a little bit of relief coming in. And if you're a first termer, consider being a reservist. Don't just go home, I'm going to smoke weed and do drugs and fall into my old habits. Consider the reserves. I did that myself too. And that was, I used to get paid back then $200 for a weekend, depending if it was just Saturday and Sunday, or around $300 if it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, a full blown weekend. So those are the things that you can do to, have some monies coming in and to find you some relief until you find that job and whatever. So it's just do yourself the due diligence. Don't depend on the base, on the DOD, because in the end, you got to do the hard work and set yourself up for success is what I'm saying. So, and if you have any questions, I keep saying it, you can reach out. I'll give you my own experience and help you with certain resources that you can go out there as well. But don't just say, oh, the VA's fucked up, all these other things that, and complain and not do anything for yourself, because bottom line, jobs aren't being handed to you. There's a shit ton of jobs out there, I can tell you that. But nobody's going to offer you one. You got to go at it and get your own. And if you're just barely starting in your career in the service, I highly recommend start investing money and set aside. We can talk about that offline to set you up for success, and you get out with some monies. So, listen to some of your staff NCOs is what I'm saying. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it, everybody. So that's on transition. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw it in on the comments. I'll answer and give you some resources. But with that being said, if you're one of we're gonna end our show over here. But if you're one of those folks that are struggling right now with PTSD, anxiety, depression, or anything else trauma related, or whatever have you, reach out to me, reach out to a friend, reach out to all the resources out there, because bottom line is we want you here. We don't want you to, take that final, harsh decision where you commit suicide, and then you leave us hanging, asking ourselves, hey, what could I have done to help out this individual? Because in the end, you matter. You should be here. You need to be here. And we just, we love you. So with that being said, great show today, folks. I'm going to go ahead and end this right here. And with that being said, I'm done bumping my gums, and get some. I'm fucking out of here. Ayat.